Today I want to talk about North Korea.
I need one of those Iron Man suits. I'm tired of walking.
I want to challenge Kim Jong-un to a one-on-one basketball game.
Wow.
I don't know, I'm a millennial. All I really care about is my feelings.
Oh shit, y'all got hella oat milk. But I love weed. Weed is the best thing. So like, I bought a Chinese proverb for $60.
Live from my grandmother's basement. This isn't the Dream Police.
No, this is not Dream Police, Purple Hat. That is the result of me forgetting to change the name of the stream.
This is We Are Trash People. I'm Emily Pineapple.
And I'm Forrest, the keeper of the cannon.
And each week we profile the people who are taking over the Planet Scum live at this
you should,
point.
Close on your phone, Twitch, which is
crap.
playing us back to ourselves.
Oh, no.
We are Dream People.
We are Dream People.
You are Dream People. Thank you for coming by and watching our little stream. Dream Nation. Yes, Dream Nation, I'm asking you to please watch us, Dream Nation.
You know what? We've entered a time loop.
You just got to quit the app on your phone.
I have quit the app on my phone.
Really?
Yes.
That's wild.
You say these things as though I do not know them. The issue is this that is going to be playing back. Welcome to... Oh,
I have to quit the app. I have to quit the app.
Forrest,
I have to quit the app. That was all me.
Producer extraordinaire.
That was all me.
And
you know what?
certified
Look,
man.
I think
telling a woman that she did something wrong.
Well, look, I think you'll find
he was wrong.
It was a test. It was a test. No, it was a test. It was a test. And look, the cat's here.
And it was meant to get Gatsby.
I was luring the cat around.
Yes.
With my wrongness, because the cat is drawn to incorrect information.
This is Gatsby. Gatsby the big orange cat with the same name and face as Richie Owens of Chicago improvisation and comedy.
Well, now New York.
And now New York, friend of Megan Stalter of Freakfest fame.
Are we going to do a new intro because of all this stuff that won't matter to audio listeners?
Why?
Okay. Yeah, hi, audio listeners.
This cat, which is sitting in front of us, has the same name and face as Richie Owens' cat.
If you go to Planet Scum, go to Show Us Your Pets, and you'll see him from us at some point. It's been a little while since we've shared him with the Discord.
Also, share your pets.
Yeah, share your pets.
We are Trash People. We talk about the people who are taking over the once was CGP, now is Planet Scum live time slot each week. And we're super excited today to both talk about the nature of improv, because we just got finished watching a 3.5-hour stream of Chris Gethard and Will Miles talking about improv and spilling some like real strong UCB team. They left that bag in there for a long time.
Yeah, there was a lot of it was well steeped tea. And it's going to be live on the Planet Scum Live Twitch channel for 24 hours, and I think it will make its way to YouTube. So definitely, if you missed it, check it out.
I'm so excited to tell my improv class about it tomorrow.
Yes, I mean, it's going to be great for anyone in your improv club.
Yes. It will be very fun. But what we are talking about today, in addition to nature of improv, is Will Miles.
Yes.
Because this Wednesday on Planet Scum Live, we will be seeing Will Miles and Robby Hoffman. Robby Hoffman herself, the icon, taking calls.
Yes, and I'm very excited for that. Sorry for showing you our webcam settings for a second. I was trying not to move them there.
Everyone needs to know what settings we're on. We need to be transparent with our viewers about the layers and layers of Photoshop that have been put over my glorious mug. I'm not wearing a jacket right now. I'm wearing just a potato sack. But it looks good, huh?
Yeah, and if you're having sync issues, it's actually because of the intense rendering software. Yeah. So it's running at all times to make us look like humans.
Yeah, we're not reptilians.
Not at all. Not reptilians at all. But Robby Hoffman and Will Miles, as mentioned, will be on Planet Scum Live this Wednesday to give life advice to viewers. So call in.
And probably some dyke advice. This is
that'll probably
segment
happen.
that Robby Hoffman has had on her live shows and on her other shows where she gives advice to lesbians. And so I would love to encourage any lesbians watching or viewers to call in and get some dyke advice, because that is some valuable shit right there.
Yeah, I think that would be wonderful.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah. Give a deep cut to Robby Hoffman and show that you've seen her shows.
Baba Booey, Baba,
Baba
Booey.
Booey, Baba Booey. And so we've talked about Robby before when Robby hosted the Chris Gethard show on CGP. And so,
I'm sorry, you mean the Chris Gethard show
with
Robby
Hoffman.
Hoffman.
Yes. And so we're going to link to our podcast that we did about Robby's previous work then, and also to Robby on Post-Performance Pints, which is Allie's show. And that was a great interview. And Mary from the Discord, Mary the mod of many names, also performed on that
Allie's
very
show, that
episode.
Post-Performance Pints.
Yes.
It occurs at 12 p.m. Sundays, California time.
Yes.
I don't care about your weird-ass time zones and about your strange other time in the outside place that they tell us about in California
in
public
the rumored
schools.
Outdoors. I don't believe it. I think that this house is the only place that exists. This basement, really.
Yeah, like grandmother's basement. There are the grandmother's upper floors. I can go there. That's a real place, but I'm not sure about anywhere else.
So let's tell you about the bio of imaginary figment of our minds, Will Miles.
Yep. Figment of our imagination. Wow, we have really good imaginations.
Great imagination.
To come up with someone that talented.
Comedian.
Are you kidding me? Wow.
Will Miles' bio, which is from his website, it's a little out of date, which says, Will Miles is a comedian. He is currently a writer on The Chris Gethard Show on True TV and can be seen on the next season of Hulu's Difficult People and HBO's Crashing. He was also recently named one of Brooklyn Magazine's 50 funniest comedians and Comedy Central's 10 comics to watch. He has been part of the Bridgetown Comedy Festival, Hell Yes Fest, Brooklyn Comedy Festival, New York Comedy Festival, and Accidental Comedy Festival, just to name a few. Miles co-hosts the podcast Hopefully We Don't Break Up,
which is really fun.
Which is an amazing show, and we'll talk about that later. With fellow comedian Julia Rossi, available for download on iTunes. And he also co-hosts the wildly popular show Comedy at the Knitting Factory. I don't think he does that anymore because now he's in LA. And his debut stand-up comedy album, Good Year, is now available on iTunes, Spotify, and more. And we're going to talk more about Good Year a little later as well. Since that bio was written, Will Miles has been executive story editor for Grownish and Southside. He's co-starred in Leah Bonnema's comedy pilot Solving Leah.
Oh, yeah, that was great.
And he's written for
Leah Bonnema of Sex Ghost book.
Hard Read, Sex Ghost.
Karen Robards.
Karen Robards. The Robards special is a bagel and a Diet Coke.
The Robards special, The Last Victim trilogy or quadrilogy. I don't remember.
It was a quadrilogy.
I listened to all of them, and I would strongly suggest if you're going to consume those books to listen. Because apparently they're written like romance novels.
He's also written for all that.
Which they are.
Will Miles wrote for the reboot of all that.
I would recommend that above Hard Read.
Oh, Hard Read. Yeah, I would recommend all that.
Were you making a really excellent joke that I just stepped it on?
That people should stop, look, and watch. Are they ready? I was just quoting the All That theme song. That's all that was happening, and I realized you wouldn't understand it
though.
because
Good
you didn't
job.
watch Nickelodeon.
No, I wasn't allowed to.
Also, this first thing is sort of a bonus that we're going to talk about, but Will Miles is featured in the Steve Martin Comedy Masterclass.
Yeah. So, we thought that was pretty funny, which is
because he mentioned it on Twitter, and I saw it, and I didn't know what that meant. Like, and this video, it's towards the end, but you'll get to see a little bit of that.
We're going to talk about my specific know that there's room for you. Hey, welcome to Steve Martin's Masterclass.
Before that,
had no talent.
We apologize.
We don't have our usual.
Actually, thought I is usable. Oh, what? Oh. Whatever makes you unique as a performer, do it. And know the machine. Everything, I don't have any talent. I just question it.
An ultimate goal of mine is to work clean.
Mm-hmm. Well, performing comedy. Hey, move that over there. We're going to talk about writing. Editing is one of your most powerful tools. So that bit's not working, it's gone the next night.
Now, what gets the laugh? Whenever it's the word that gets the laugh, I always question it.
An ultimate goal of mine is to work clean.
Mm-hmm. Well, then you should take off.
Yeah.
That was Will Miles right there.
Right there, wishing that he could work clean. You know?
He does work pretty.
He does work pretty clean. Allie has a really great question in the chat right now, which is, I'm going to stop showing you all my notifications.
Why are Americans obsessed with working clean?
I know the answer. I know the answer.
But you know the answer.
Ching! It's that money, baby.
Yeah, when you started going ching, I thought you were going to go into Changes by Queen and David Bowie, and I was like, I don't think, how is that relevant?
Okay. No, it's the change, as in the chunk of change one can get with more clean gigs, as well as the idea that you can get into more clubs, the idea that you'd be seen by more executives, the idea that you could be hired to write on an ABC Family show.
And on the other end, it opens up a lot more cruise ship gigs and
that too.
Corporate gigs, like corporate retreats and stuff. Mm-hmm. Oh, interesting. Allie says clean gigs don't exist in Ireland.
That's because it's Ireland.
And not us.
I have a friend who has been wildly depressed the entire time I have known her, except for the summer she spent in Ireland. She was so happy.
So our first of 10 things we love from Will Miles.
Because that's what we do here. We pick 10 things that we love about that person, and we share them with you.
Yeah.
We don't have time codes today, so we might be jumping around as we
just
did
have
in the
rough time
video.
codes for a few of them, but
I apologize. That's because I spent most of the day today curled up in the fetal position having anxiety attacks.
So it's fair.
Because that's what being a Gethard fan is all
about. Yeah, I mean,
about.
I think we can all relate to anxiety. But for this first one, we actually do have some rough time codes.
Mm-hmm.
It's when Will Miles was on the Chris Gethard show as a writer, as he mentioned in his bio, and he challenged someone to a game of one-on-one basketball to prove who was the biggest Chicago Bulls fan. And this is newly relevant right now because you have The Last Dance, that documentary about Michael Jordan bullying the general manager of the Chicago Bulls.
I would love to show you this, but my YouTube is so angry at me.
I think you can play it not full.
Yeah, hell yeah. Remember in 1988 when Jordan dunked from the free throw line? I know that you got that on the poster, right? In your palace, Kim? Guess what? I was there. I'm in that poster. I was 4 years old and it was awesome. That is the real Bulls fan. I own the official championship t-shirts of every time the Bulls won, and I bought them when they actually won from a guy on the west side of Chicago with face tattoos, and I wasn't even scared. And I know you're thinking the west side isn't as scary as the south side, but that shows just a gross misunderstanding of the social structure of Chicago. West side and south side are both great places, but they have their problems too. That is a real Bulls fan. I'm not worried about getting bombed by Kim Jong-un, because I don't think he's ever going to bomb black people. He thinks we're all NBA players, and I am fine with that racism. Straight racism. It works for me. Honestly, it's little white dudes like you that should be worried.
Wow, man. Whoa. Dennis Rodman and him are like legit friends.
He's only friends with Rodman because Jordan said no. And that's nuts because you don't go Jordan and then Rodman. You go Jordan, Pippen, then Rodman. That's like going from Coke to RC Cola. You got to stop at Pepsi. I mean...
It's true. You should absolutely go to Pip. I'm just happy that there's a sport I know about because it was the sport that was relevant when I was a kid. You don't skip Pippin.
You don't skip him. You don't skip him. So that's one of his excellent moments on the Chris Gethard show.
And then, yeah, definitely. He also he was one of the characters in the character parade on the finale of the Gethard show as well. So check that out too. But Will Miles I loved that bit. As soon as we saw it, it was like the challenging Kim Jong-un to basketball was one of the Gethard show bits that just like lodged into my brain and just occurs to me. Like whenever Kim Jong-un...
He's brought it up multiple times.
Yes, he's the man who reeks of denim and sex in the finale.
Oh, thank you so much, Purple Hat, for letting us know that
was
in
Purple
the
Hat.
comments.
But whenever I hear about Kim Jong-un, I think of Will Miles challenging him to a game of one-on-one, which he understands is difficult given distance. And then our next thing, I think it's coming from your Zoom
our
call.
next thing coming from my Zoom call is the following bit. I'm going to let it play through this wonderful ad for Masterclass. It knows. It thinks we're interested because we looked up that whole video. Little does it know, we look up a bunch of weird motherfucking videos for this kind of research.
Also just comedy videos are odd.
Comedy videos are
Purple
odd.
Hat was there.
I don't know. Oh, there we go. Haha. I feel
Y'all fuck with HPV? Felt like a weird icebreaker. I like it. What if you do? A third of you do, statistically. No. I feel good. I don't have it, I don't think. If you were wondering. I feel pretty good. My weight fluctuates a lot, so it's good. I feel good. I don't know. I go anywhere from like 150 to 250 on a given day. Anybody else like that? No, just me. I can't tell. It gets so bad now that my weight has become a measure of time. Like I saw a friend of mine, another comedian. His name is Big Keith. He's obviously a black comedian. And I hadn't seen him in years, and I walked over, I saw him, and he saw me at a comedy club. He was like, damn, nigga, I ain't seen you since you was fat, skinny, and then fat again. I was like, yeah, you could have just said like 3 years, man. This is kind of hurtful.
I love it.
That's one of my favorite of his bits from this
If
clip.
you can relate, can I get a thick in the chat? I want to put a thick in the chat for myself.
I mean, I can too. The thick is for both of us, but
thick. Beautiful, beautiful stuff.
Thank you, Tiger Bates, and welcome back, Tiger Bates.
Yeah, welcome back, Tiger Bates.
Redactyl, hello.
The other favorite joke that we had from this bit is the following. Should we set it up? This is about the news.
Well, that's the end time code. I don't actually have the beginning time code for
oh,
that
wonderful.
One, so I don't think we can use that one. I have it for later.
I relate so dearly to it because it's about the news.
Okay.
And about another favorite pastime of many Planet Scummers. Am I still sharing this?
Yep.
Because that looks so much fun. I want that role. I love weed more than anything, though.
Great find.
All right, good. Throw that on stage right now. Just kidding. But I love weed. Weed is the best thing, and I love it so much. It's gotten me able to talk to you guys. Like, I don't know, it just, I wouldn't be able to function without it, and that sounds like addict behavior, and it's true. I'm an addict, yeah, I have a problem. I knew I was high earlier today because I was watching the news, and that was the first clue. But I could really tell I was high because I was watching the news, and I said out loud to no one, man, this is a pretty good episode.
When was this recorded? Was it before 2016? I suppose a good episode could mean high drama. Thank you, Forrest.
Yeah, that was 2019. That's super recent.
This is from 2019. Oh goodness. Oh goodness. So that's lovely. We also wanted to share with you another. Oh, we have a bunch of stuff from the half hour.
I mean, but
I'm
don't
like
think
trying
we have
to read
share
these
all
notes,
those.
and I'm so confused.
Because there's 2 clips. That was still the first clip from the half hour. There's one more clip from the half hour, and we should share at least the first one where I have time codes.
Yes, that's why I was confused. I'm like, why are there 2? You see, it was entirely not me. It was 100% Forrest's
And you can
fault.
buy the full half hour apparently online as well.
$1 million for public education. It's a great move on their part in the first month. And I think it's great that you do that. Everybody it should be legal everywhere, and they're the OGs of it. I went there though, and it's a little weird. It's next level shit going on in Denver right now. Weed's legal. LeBron's there. That's the only things I care about. So I'm a fan, I guess, but it's weird. I noticed it's changing me a little bit because I did walk in a coffee shop the other day, and I looked around and I just yelled out loud, "Oh shit, y'all got hella oat milk." Then I was like, wait, do I say things like that? I don't know. I guess I do.
I just relate to that one so much because I'm legitimately excited whenever a coffee shop has oat milk.
Oat milk's good. It's also pretty easy to make.
True.
You just gotta blend those oats. Blend those oats with
Purple Hat
some
said,
water.
"Fuck me up with hella oat milk, baby," and I agree.
I apologize. This cat is sneezing right now. So
Well, cats have allergies too.
Yeah, cats have allergies too.
And there's other good jokes in that clip are he talks about his non-sexual open relationship, and an audition he went on to play a ghetto squirrel, which was very racist.
Yep.
And it's amazing, and definitely check out his special for those. But our next thing is Hopefully We Don't Break Up, which is his podcast with his wife, Julia Rossi.
Oh, I just thought that was something you were saying to me.
I mean, also, hopefully we don't break up. Look, it has many meanings. That's what's so cool. It's a very deep, it's just deep. It's deep. Art is on a bunch of levels, and I'm proud of this podcast for also being on all those different levels. It's a podcast where Julia Rossi and Will Miles chat with another couple about love, relationships, and how to make it all work. Unfortunately, they have since stopped the podcast.
Did they break up?
No, they're married.
They're having a baby.
They're great. Yeah.
They were on a live stream that we got to watch. This cat is being so cute
they were on
from
a live
this
stream.
direction. And I apologize. I'm trying to turn him around.
They were on a live
so
stream
that
with
he can
Sydney
see.
Washington, who hosted one of the shows on Josh Sharp's 3-part episode. Some of the episodes you can hear for Hopefully We Don't Break Up are Robby Hoffman and her then girlfriend and now fiancée, Ali Panku.
They didn't break up.
They didn't break up, and neither did Keith Haskell or Bethany Hall. Sorry, Bastian wrote, gently massage the cat teats to produce the milk, and that just broke me. Keith Haskell and Bethany Hall also didn't break up. And it's really cool because it's a chance to hear comedians and their partners together, which you often don't get, but also just to hear comedians talk about parts of their lives they don't always talk about on shows or in their stand-up. Yeah.
No, it's really cool. And I like that they're doing it as a couple. I always like it when you get to see like comedy couples in that way.
Well, and they're both such great comedians.
Yeah. And it's just all so like nice and warm, and you just like.
Allie says there's a Geth episode too with Hallie, so check that out as well.
Oh, hey. What Allie actually wrote is there's a Geth episode 2 with Allie. So Allie just outed her relationship with Gethard. I mean, this is one place to come out.
Look, the bits of Emily Pineapple do not necessarily represent the opinions of We Are Trash People.
Look, every single thing that I say is 100% endorsed by Chris Gethard. Chris Gethard 100% endorses everything that comes out of my mouth, and Allie just put into my mouth the truth about her long-standing non-sexual emotional affair with Chris Gethard.
Any podcasters watching, have you ever had your co-host decide to do a bit and seen your life flash before your eyes because you know it's going to haunt you someday? Has that ever happened to you? Send us an email. wearetrashpeople@gmail.com, and maybe we'll read it on the show.
Oh my God. I apologize deeply to everyone who I have hurt just now. But
thank you for your forgiveness.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a really fun thing. It's a really fun podcast. There are also other people who we've profiled who have been on that show. And so I've actually heard it a couple times before where I was like, oh, hey, it's Will Miles. He's the Will Miles guy.
Yes, it's that Will Miles.
It's that Will Miles.
Our fourth thing is a bit of a departure from that podcast, though. And we're not playing that because it's audio. And so, we're just playing to the strengths of Twitch right now.
Yeah.
Video, the eyes.
The eyes.
The theater of the eye.
The theater of the eye.
The fourth thing is from Twitter, and it's that Will Miles saw something else while high, not just the news.
Oh. He did something similar to many of us. This guy, and perhaps some of you right now who are looking at this cat.
Yes, this cat.
This cat. Well, he saw cats high.
He saw cats high.
He saw cats high, which, as everyone knows, you didn't need to get. Everyone who has seen cats knows that you didn't need to get high before you started seeing cats.
No.
Cats will do that for you.
I saw it pretty much stone cold sober, and I felt like a fever dream.
Yep.
But this isn't even the movie.
No. It was not good. I thought it would be good. There's commercials for it. Everybody is always talking about cats. I was like, oh, cats must be really good. Everybody seems to love it. And this was before the movie. And I was like, damn, it must be good. And I get there, and this cat comes out, and it sings and dances, and I was like, all right, I don't like this, but maybe it gets better. This is just the first character. Then this other cat comes out, and it sings and dances, and I was like, great, at least we have the two main characters right here, and that must be what this whole thing is about. They're just going to interact for the rest of the play. And then this other cat comes out, and sings and dances, and goes back inside, and then that happens 65 more times over this 5-hour span. And the lady next to me was crying. I was like, you crying because this makes no fucking sense? This is the stupidest shit I've ever seen in my life. And it was just cats introing themselves. I'm like, I don't even care. Somebody out there is like, yo, bring out another cat. Not me. I'm like, where is this going? I'm sure cats have different stories to tell. This is so stupid. And I realized what it was that I don't like about cats, besides everything. Because I don't like cats, I like dogs, and I like turtles. I have a turtle tattoo on my arm. Just to give you a hint of how stunted my growth is. But big Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan, took it to the arm. But yeah, no, I don't like things that were written like cats. And what I mean by that is I like things that are written by people who were smoking weeds. That stuff I like. I don't like things that are written like cats because I think Cats was clearly written on cocaine. There's a lot of reasons I think that. Number one, every cokehead I know has a cat. I don't know if that's correlation. Also, it's a play with 65 introductions. It's very cocaine behavior. We've all been at that party before, right? Where it's like, hey man, I met you twice, please. No. This is the third intro. You're wearing a bow tie now, it doesn't change anything.
I like that you're going to put the camera back so we're visible.
So I changed the camera angle because my cat, Gatsby, is being his photogenic self and lying just out of frame, just underneath the frame in such a way that we cannot have both of us in frame at the same time. But I felt that it was important for this.
No, I think it was key
to be accompanied by the cat.
Bastian notes that they've seen Cats once, which is too many.
Yes.
And they've seen the Lou Diamond Phillips movie Bats multiple times.
Oh.
I'm going to assume that it's like Cats.
Was it like Bat Boy the musical?
Bats.
Is it like Bat Boy the musical? I would dig a Bats musical that was like Cats the musical. I would be there for. I'm not there for Cats, but I am here for Bats.
So we saw Cats in theaters.
Oh,
and it was an amazing experience. The crowd
was ready.
Like as it started, someone in the crowd just went, "Here we go!"
We started 2 applause breaks when the Cats did something incredible. They thought they were going to fail for a moment, and then they succeeded.
The theater sang along to Magical Mr. Mistopheles.
Yep.
Every time it looked like cats were going to kiss, we cheered for the cats to kiss or went, no!
Mm-hmm.
It was great. Definitely see cats with other people.
And see it intoxicated if that is your want.
And if you're not
thing that heightens experiences for you, you don't need to be.
You'll feel like it.
Yeah.
The world felt different when I got out of that. The 5th thing we're going to talk about for this show is Good Year, which is Will Miles' comedy album, which was released in 2016.
Yup.
And was published by Comedy Dynamics. It was recorded in his hometown of Chicago.
Most of that year was a pretty okay year.
It's true. He talks about how he knew he was back in Chicago. The title is in reference to one of his favorite jokes at the grocery store. I'll let you listen to figure out why it's called Good Year. He tells jokes about gentrification, going to the bank while high, how your parents being on Facebook has really ruined it. Subway preachers, the Subway preacher joke is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And then meeting Matthew McConaughey. And the story of his conversation with Matthew McConaughey is just so good. And that you can find pretty much everywhere you can find albums, including iTunes and Pandora.
Yep. Pretty fun stuff.
That's not what's next. What you're
That's
queuing
not
up
what
isn't what's
next?
next. What's next is recently added.
Oh.
Which is Will Miles' old podcast with Nick Turner and sometimes Lyra Smith. where they reviewed each and every Netflix original movie and series the week it comes out. Sometimes that's one movie. Sometimes it's like 5 series in a movie. So I see why he stopped.
Yep.
Because that's a lot of Netflix movies of questionable quality to watch.
They're not great.
No. The one I listened to was about, was it 6 Underground, which was the Michael Bay movie that Michael Bay did for Netflix. And it has David Bory, who was one of our favorite San Francisco Bay Area comedians before he moved to LA and was often performing with Claire O'Kane, with CGP's Claire O'Kane. And so there's not a ton to say, except that on that, Will talks about his belief in magic gems. They all talk about how ripped Kumail Nanjiani is now and how they have very different reactions to it. And the hidden dangers of nepotism, because Will's dad was an entertainment lawyer, and whether or not that briefly when he was a child, he was an entertainment lawyer, and so they argue about whether the one job he got for Will as a kid counts as nepotism, and you'll have to listen to that podcast to find out why.
I need to listen to that podcast.
Yeah, you have to listen. It's a great podcast. I love it, even though it's gone, and these are shows that are like not even new anymore. I mean, some of them are pretty new, but it's just such a fun listen. It's so good. And yes, and Bastian points out the G is silent, which is Bory's name on Twitter.
Yes.
So follow David Bory. And Faded Comedy is the comedy group in LA that he is in. I think Will Miles used to be in. That's doing live streams. So it's a cool way to meet West Coast comedians if you're not out here.
We have another wonderful video in tweet form.
Yes, another tweet.
To share with you. A tweet.
This one's also on YouTube, but we're showing it on a tweet.
A tweet.
Tweet.
So I stepped a little closer. It moved a little bit, and the entire first row goes, ah!
So as you can see, I didn't fuck up the start of this video by dropping us into like a weird, not punchline, clearly part of a story, but something a little strange and interesting. That's all I'm going to say about how Comedy Central edits these fucking videos.
They wanted us hooked with a little
the whole thing. Just watch the whole thing and think about what maybe close your eyes and listen instead of watching to see how Comedy Central has fucking butchered this story.
Okay.
I have feelings.
I know, and it's okay.
I'm Will Miles, and this is the story of the world's smallest heckler. So, you know, stand-up's a fun career. You go 10 years before you, like, really pop. I got a special, Comedy Central. I was like, oh, great, I got a half-hour special. So I booked a tour leading up to the taping of the special. I was doing shows in D.C., and I was on stage. Things are going smooth. Maybe 15 minutes in, I see somebody in the crowd, like, look to my left. Oh, I wonder what they're looking at, but I'm gonna just keep going. I'm dancing up here. Let's go. And then I see them look again, and I made eye contact with a person. He just goes, yo, it's a mouse on stage. I was like, what? Like, it's a mouse on stage right next to you. And I looked, and there was a mouse on stage right next to me. A lot of my favorite comics will dig themselves into a hole and then dig out of it. So I started doing kind of an Abbott and Costello routine with the mouse. So I'm going back and forth with the mouse, I'm commenting on it. I'm like, oh shit, here's Jerry. Jerry's gonna talk to you guys for a little bit. This is my opener. I'm gonna bring him to every city from now on. But then I started looking at the mouse and being like, is it alive? Because it had not moved. I don't really fuck with rodents like that because I had a bad experience in Chicago where rats were just coming through my house like they lived there. And in their defense, they probably did live there first. I gentrified their neighborhood, so I wanted them gone so I could put up my Keurig coffee machine. So I did see the mouse on stage and I was like, it's not moving. Maybe it's dead. Maybe it's one of those mice that just came out just to die on stage in public, you know, like a David Blaine trick or something. That's gonna make this show way worse. I don't know, this guy was doing comedy and then a dead mouse came out. Oh, the DJ? No. A dead mouse. So I stepped a little closer. It moved a little bit and the entire first row goes, ah! I was like, okay, great, it's alive. I'll do more mouse material. 20 minutes of mouse material later, I'm like, all right, we gotta get the mouse out of here. So I addressed the manager, I'm like, hey, then the manager comes, he humanely gets the mouse out, he puts it in a little jar, releases it into the wild. So then I go back to my material, crowd was into it still, I had 10 more minutes left in my set. So I finished pretty strong, closed, being like, all right, I've been Will, and don't forget my opener, Jerry. Maybe I'll try to find a mouse and bring it to my next act. You know, maybe I'm the new Carrot Top. Carrot Top makes $50 million a year. Props. I'll bring a mouse. Fuck it. I'll do anything. Afterwards, people keep coming up to me and being like, yo, I love that mouse bit, man. You know, it's weird when people say, I love that bit that you clearly just did right now that you haven't worked on, and not mention the year's work of material that I had done before that. Whatever, it works, it's still good. A win is a win. I don't care how it came, you know, look at the Raptors. So now every time I go to a new club, I bring my own mice. I set them down on stage right next to me. Makes for a great show, so thank you, Jerry.
I love that because it shows how good he is at storytelling.
Especially given how, because you could tell that like they actually had to leave in the entire story.
Yeah.
Like, the only parts that they sucked out, I'm like, oh, that would have been really funny. Like,
oh yeah.
They really should have just left that.
I would have loved to just see the actual like full unedited story, but he's an amazing storyteller, and that's one of the things I love about his stand-up in general.
And that's why he's such a great writer.
Yeah.
Which we get to see in our next thing that we wanted to show off. This is number 8 of the things that we love, and because we're on number 8.
Oh yeah.
Because we're on number 8, Forrest, I was wondering if this would be a lovely time to invite anyone who would like to call in and partake in this wonderful Will Miles with us.
So yeah, you can you can post that link.
I can post that link
on
Planet
Scum.
I can post that link because I have my phone right here. I mean, I can do it here too, but for some reason it feels easier to me to do it this way. So why don't you tell everyone about what this wonderful thing is?
So I'll talk about Cooler by the Lake, which is the after show to the Comedy Central series Southside, and it's hosted by Will Miles and Langston Kerman, who both write on Southside. Southside is a Comedy Central show about two friends and aspiring venture capitalists who just graduated from community college and are ready to take over the world, but must work at a rent-to-own store in Chicago's Inglewood neighborhood until then. And so Cooler by the Lake is the after show, as I mentioned, and it's really cool because you get to see Will and Langston talk to the cast on topics inspired by the episode. Like, one of them, there's a sneaker shortage in the episode, and so they talk about sneakerhead culture and all of that with Ed Williams III. And then on another episode, they all come into money, and so they talk about the best way to spend a ton of money with Sultan Saladin and Karame Young. And then on another episode, and I was excited for this, they talked to Kel Mitchell of All That fame about Chicago cuisine. And given that Will writes for the New All That, it's a meeting of the minds, intergeneration crossover between old All That and new All That. And I loved that. And Kel Mitchell was also just great on it. And I agree that coleslaw is not great.
No. Coleslaw. I was about to say like coleslaw is like colascola, like what's happening?
Colascola is great and much better than coleslaw.
Yes. If you want to join us, I have put the Zoom link in private chat on the Planet Scum Discord. We are the trash people of Planet Scum. And anywhere you're seeing this, you already know that.
But, as evidenced by our loving the 3-hour conversation about improv with Geth and Will Miles, we love seeing people talk about their work. And so that's one of the things about Cooler by the Lake that I really like.
It was really
because
cool
getting to hear Will talk about his work and sometimes sort of give, I don't know, it's just really cool. It's really cool, and you get to see where certain ideas come from amidst the cast and writers, and it's just a really cool peek behind the curtain.
And hearing stories of writers' rooms, like places that are made by writers' room-esque organizations, like The Tick, which we just binge watched.
With Griffin Newman.
Hello, Griffin Newman. Oh, hey, we have a friend joining us.
Sup, friends? How are we?
Welcome.
What's happening? How are you?
We're good.
It's very early here, and I have Steven Universe characters appearing on my arm. Can I do that? No, it's gone. Okay.
Right in your center, as if he's in your soul.
He's in my tummy.
Open your rib cage. There he would be. That's amazing, and I love it.
True story. My oldest kid, when I used to have a belly button piercing, used to think that it was my jam. Before I decided I was too old to have a belly button piercing, and it was getting weird.
I love it. So, Allie, the wonderful community member and runner of post-performance pints that we have been talking up, and Hysteria Network, which is Hysteria. It's a beautiful, now entirely online, little artist commune. Not unlike our little artist commune, but with all new artists that we have
all
seen
the artists
before. Which is really cool for me because I love feeling like I'm cooler than other people because I know things that they don't. So being able to be like, yeah, I'm just like tuned into this like UK Irish group of like artists doing things. So everyone who wants to feel like me, watch for cool stuff, and then tell all your friends to watch for cool stuff. Because in order to feel cool, other people have to eventually all see the thing, right? Because then you can be like, I knew them before they were cool. So now it's up to all of you. It's up to all of us to make Hysteria super fucking awesome. Like, big. It's already awesome. It's
already great, yeah.
Thanks for the plugage, guys. Really appreciate it. Hysteria, the Hipsters Network. It didn't exist before. It didn't exist before quarantine, so it's complete response to that.
That's so awesome and beautiful. And I really want to talk to you about if you are chill to hang around. I'm so curious as someone who started this post-quarantine, like your thoughts on the art and the response and how things will adapt and become and create, much like what was happening in the Twitch chat and in the Planet Scum chat during Geth's and Will Miles' and Will Hines' discussion.
There's a lot of wills.
It's 2 wills. There's too many wills.
It's all the wills. It's all the wills.
White people are terrible at names. Can I just say that there are 16 Johns in one side of my family going back generations, and there's only like 2 generations. They're all named John. It's awful. It's disgusting. So, Allie, tell us, what did you know about Will Miles before this?
Just what I've seen on the Gethard show, and like he's really fucking funny. And some clips you've seen there. I hadn't seen a lot of his stand-up apart from what you just showed me there, and it's just so good. Such a great storytelling comic.
He's also been really good about doing stuff during the quarantine. Like when on I think it's the Comedy Bureau, which lists all the things going on in LA, he pops up all the time doing things.
Oh,
also,
really?
Comedy Bureau is now listing live streams. And things. So people who are familiar with our quarantine calendar on Planet Scum of all of the live streams and cool things that Gethard adjacent and community members are doing, check out Comedy Bureau.
Yeah,
because
it's like one of the main sources I use to figure out what's on the community calendar ever since Bryson told us about it when we were in LA to see Robbie.
Go straight to the source.
Sick. That's so cool.
Is there anything else that has stood out to you about Will Miles' stuff thus far?
He's got a very interesting cadence that I really enjoy. That's not like it's weird. I don't know. It's definitely Chicago's influence. You can see it here in the style, but it's something really strange about it that it's very uniquely his, and it's very definitely a person of color's voice in terms of comedy styling, but also it's not in line with that traditional, for lack of a better word, black comedy style, if you know what I mean. But then again, the only other person I can think of who has somewhat similar cadence is Hannibal Buress, who's also from Chicago. So there's definitely, I can see parallels between the two of them. But also very different comics at the same time. So I wonder if that's they came from the same scene, so there's probably an influence there.
Yeah, I do like how it's, when you mentioned the cadence, I think that's sort of what I've been seeing in his stuff that feels so unique. It's somewhere in between joke telling and even slightly longer story joke telling and storyteller, which storytelling shows, etc., like stories start having their own sort of structure and cadence if you listen to way too many of them, as I have. But like, I love how he mixes the two together. I really want to see his entire half hour.
I mean, you should definitely see his half hour. And I listened to his album today, and it's just so good.
Is there anything that you felt about his album? Do you feel like my hypothesis stands?
I think so, because like a lot of his jokes are rooted in a story, but it's not. It's structured to facilitate the joke, not as simply an interesting story. Like that, there are interesting stories in and of themselves, but the joke is what they're driving towards in a way you don't always see in a storytelling show, because obviously different goals.
It's like when it's people, I mean, Gethard's stories are like that similarly. It's when you get people that are just, my favorite stories to listen to are ones by people who are just really, really, really good stand-ups.
He's also really good at weaving in callbacks to his earlier stories in his later stories in the album and all of that as well. So
it feels like a structure.
He doesn't rush to the punchline too, which is very cool.
Yeah.
You know, like that, and that takes serious level of restraint and crafting. You know, like they're very well structured. Like I always feel like somebody who's nowhere near as experienced a comedian and nowhere near as good a storyteller as him or Get, that I'm often rushed to the punchline, and he just has this patience to seem to wait for and let the story unravel to the natural punchline that he's built.
Well, and it's crazy because I forgot to mention it when we were talking about the album, but at the end of the album, Will reveals that he just got his first comedy job, and it was writing for the Gethard show. So
I love it.
It's interesting that he had that.
Mm-hmm. He was always kind of a more writerly comic.
Yeah, and I don't know when he started stand-up. I couldn't find that, so I don't know how far he was into doing stand-up at that point. But it is, there is that confidence of I'm just going to let the story take the time it takes and not rush into it.
Yeah, it's a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
Too.
I mean, his persona is definitely
very
there's
confident.
A confidence to it.
It's got a swagger to it, like.
Yeah. So I had you talking about Cooler by the Lake.
Yeah, which is.
Are there any clips that you wanted to show us from Cooler by the Lake, Forrest?
We don't have time codes for any of them. Is the problem?
That's okay, but like of these 3 links that we have right here, which we're gonna link in the show notes, is there one that like is sticking out to you right now?
I think
as someone who has seen all of these things multiple times,
I would
rather
go
than
with
just
the
once I've seen them.
I would probably go with the Chicago. Well, I want to say I'd go with the Chicago one because
Kel Mitchell is in it.
And so there's a little bit more familiarity on both the host and the guests on there. But it's also cool. Actually, let's do the first one because the first one is with the co-creators of the show, and so that's another interesting conversation to see. And that's the one where it's about how they would spend a lot of money if they came into it all of a sudden. And one of the questions that comes up is about if they'd solve any real world problems if they got the money.
And they're like, no, I am like Jeff Bezos.
No, they're not like, no.
They're not like every other billionaire.
Yeah, we may have to try to scroll.
I mean, there are captions, but there we go.
Yeah.
Ha! I'm brilliant.
That's it.
I want to live like Klay Thompson. I just want to live the way that he lives, whatever that means. Yeah. I want a dog. I want to not learn how to talk anymore. Just be a weird, uncomfortable dude who gets to shoot jump shots all day. That would be beautiful.
You could play Klay Thompson.
You could. I could see
Klay
Thompson. Oh, that's going to be the Lifetime movie. Yeah. Oh, man. I'll write it. All right. Lifetime movie of Klay Thompson. Light-skinned wonder.
All I like to do is dribble. That's all I like to do.
J.K. Rowling would be my choice, you know? If I could have that idea. Harry Potter, she must have been high. She said she was, I think. She was on ecstasy.
Even in her car.
Yeah, doing ecstasy, and then came up with Harry Potter.
Doing ecstasy? Why was she in her car doing ecstasy? I like to be alone when I feel like touching myself.
What if a little boy
That's why her brain degraded so quickly.
I just love Will Miles.
They had powers.
And there was a lightning bolt on his forehead. Imagine a bitch named Hermione.
Yeah. Oh, that's the life. All right. Question.
Yeah.
Would you use your money to put a stop to any major issues in the world, any of the world's problems?
Yes, homelessness and hunger. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, a lot of people are hungry. A lot of people are homeless.
Are you just feeding them, or are you just, what are you going to do with the money?
Well, actually, I would like to, go around set up tables and barbecue stations. Yeah, and,
barbecue.
Put some
healthy food like barbecue.
Yeah, what brings people together better
What
than
y'all
barbecue?
need is ribs.
Exactly. Ribs, dogs, burgers.
I would put a stop.
White bread. Yeah.
I would put a stop to people who are sitting at the light too long while they're on their phone. I would have an execution squad just come straight out. Oh, you're on your phone. And we're rid of them. That's what I would. That's what I put my money to. Does it frustrate you like it does me?
Frustrates me every day.
Exactly.
And that's population control.
Well, that's a whole nother issue.
We need that.
We do.
I think that's a solid idea.
So this was, of course, before there was a global pandemic where that was really happening. But
No, yes, this is from 2019? Yeah, this is September 2019. So it's but it's a good sample of, I think, what the show is and the sort of like hangout vibe that I think makes it a really cool after show, because it feels I don't know, a lot of the after shows on like cable networks and stuff feel very, I don't know, it feels more focus tested.
Oh yeah.
And like it feels scripted, honestly. Whereas this feels much more just like
it sounds like a podcast.
It sounds like a
bunch
podcast,
of friends doing a podcast together, and they're like, let's have some questions.
It's more the boys hanging out rather than the late night show. You have to hit this talking point kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I think the podcast point is, I think you're seeing Will's podcast hosting experience and skills coming out to play with that.
It's also the place where I feel like there are that kind of show, because there are so many few shows, I feel like, on TV that have that feel.
Yeah.
From networks and stuff, because it's just been devoid of that. You see it online, you see it on podcasts. Well, you hear it on podcasts.
But then the next thing we want to talk about is Sherman's Showcase, which is an IFC comedy sketch variety show, which is like premised that it's going through the archives of a historical sketch comedy show, and showing the best of it. It's all new things, and Will wrote on all 8 episodes of the season and appeared on 2 of them, including in a great sketch that we're about to show you some of called Temptations 11, where Motown's biggest artists team up for the heist of a lifetime at Berry Gordy's house. And Berry Gordy is the founder of the Motown record label.
I want everyone who watches this and is like, I don't know who any of these people are, to know that my mom took me to Motown the musical, and I still don't know who any of these people are.
You don't know who any of them are?
Oh, come on.
I've heard the names.
You don't know who Gladys Knight is?
A singer.
Okay, well, you know who she is then.
She sang songs.
She and the Pips.
I bet I've heard them.
What was the name of the record company again? Was it like Chess Records or something like that?
Oh, there is there is Chess.
I apologize, this isn't going full screen.
Berry Gordy's house is separated into 4 levels. Each level is protected by a separate state-of-the-art security system. Each security system is more elaborate than the last. He actually bought it with royalties from the best of Smokey Robinson. I'm sorry.
God damn. Come on, man. Can you believe he said he wrote that album?
Now, his grounds are guarded by a horde of hungry Rottweilers. These dogs are mean and they're starving because Barry kept the money for their food for himself.
I bet he told them they'd get it once they were on the road. Just saying, he treats his artists like dogs.
Gladys, you can say that again.
He treats his artists like dogs.
And you can sing it.
He treats his artists like dogs.
Excellent. Now, as you know, we need to distract the rabid Rottweilers, so you're gonna have to sacrifice some pips.
It's okay. I'll make more.
Right on, right on. Well, our pips are being viciously eaten by the Rottweilers. I'm gonna get the Commodores to repel over the east wall of this here brick house, okay?
Ooh, brick house. That's copywritten material, brother.
So I think we can save the rest of that for you to people to watch it.
The Pips!
Because you got to give those views to that video, but
they've been sacrificed.
It's great. And then he also is in another sketch called Brother You Wrong. But as mentioned, Langston Kerman was also in that sketch.
Mm-hmm.
Co-host of Cooler by the Lake. And this one is a video where Will Miles and the rest of the cast of Sherman's Showcase debate whether humans need to explore other planets.
Yeah.
And I think
which is an important question now more than ever.
Definitely just okay.
Hello. I apologize. You all really need to know about Secret Deodorant. This podcast is brought to you by Secret Deodorant.
Will
you
first
definitely need to see in quarantine.
I need to see ads for products I can't buy that don't exist this side of the Atlantic.
They don't have Secret over there? Damn.
I think it's called Secret. I think it's called Sure. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no.
No, we have
That's
Sure.
what it used to be called though.
Sure is Secret?
Okay.
Yeah, Sure is Secret.
That's why I haven't seen ads asking if I was sure.
Yeah, no, because Secret was the woman's version.
I didn't know that.
Of Sure.
Oh,
they got rid of Sure?
Sure is just Sure in Ireland.
Oh.
They still have Sure.
Oh.
Yeah, they just didn't break it up because I don't know why.
And so Will first talks about a minute in this video.
Yeah. And it's a pretty fun sketch. I again apologize for everyone knowing about Secret and how important it is for everyone.
That's not true.
Sister, hold up. You're wrong. All right? Now, saying something's not true is the same as saying it's a lie. And we don't call people a lie on the show.
But if the brother's wrong, the brother's wrong.
I agree. Sister over there is right, and the brother over here is indeed wrong.
Oh.
Dead wrong. Also, I wasn't done talking. Okay.
That's fine.
You're wrong. You interrupted her.
Thank you.
But sister, you wrong for not understanding the format of the show.
Yep. You can interrupt people here.
Okay, look, y'all. I've been trying to raise my hand for a while now, okay? And I got something to say.
But
I apologize.
yeah, it's like I think it's more like 45 seconds, but that's cool. We don't need to go back over it necessarily.
Yeah, but it's a really fun sketch. All of the sketches on this show are really fun. Where can people see this show?
It's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube.
It was an IFC show. I don't know if they've picked it up for another season or not, but
who knows
a
if
lot of the
anything's
sketches
being picked up or not.
Well, something has to, but who knows which one will be? But something will be picked up at some point for something, even if it's just ska picking it up. Allie?
Question. What's the story at IFC? What are IFC? Because they seem to produce really cool shows.
So it used to be the Independent Film Channel.
Yeah.
And then at some point, I think it was Evan Shapiro, who was the head of CISO and is now the president of National Lampoon, was the head of the network and shifted it to like comedy with Portlandia and all that. And then
Marin was on that as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, there seems to be loads of really good comedy shows on. I was just wondering, it's like, I've never obviously watched IFC, but I've watched a lot of their shows.
Yeah, I think it was just
legally. They're not showing on Irish TV, guys. Okay, give me a break. I have to steal them. You get me no choice.
It's a testament to how great their programming is.
Exactly.
I'm really paying them tribute.
But I think I think they were just like, well, independent movies are funny. What if we're a comedy network? There's a C in our name. What if the C was for comedy? Independent funny comedy.
Independent funny comedy.
Exactly.
There's also a great music video from the show about time travel that we'll link in the show notes. Just, I'm bummed I missed Sherman's Showcase.
Because it is really good sketches. They're very fun, very beautifully produced.
And it's cool seeing stuff that he helped write in that kind of format. Because that's really, that's the main case I've seen. Because I haven't seen the show Southside itself. So that's the place where I've seen Will write for other people to perform. And so that was really cool.
Yeah.
And then our final thing is Will doing a 15-minute set at Paste Magazine. And this was in 2017. And so what's cool about it is with Goodyear, this, and then his half-hour special, you get to see some jokes come from an earlier state, still polished, but an earlier state, and see how even jokes from his album then get shifted and evolve over time to the point where he's doing his half-hour.
Yeah, and so this is from 2017.
Yes.
In particular.
And so.
And let's go to this first joke that you really liked.
I have the end time codes primarily on these, so you'll have to do your magic.
I will.
In the meantime, let's admire my. Oh, it's gone. My crotch will. Come on.
Oh, you're trying to get Will Miles to show up with the virtual desktop.
Crotch.
Come on! It was working a second ago.
Come on, blanket.
I believe in you, slightly green blanket. Come on, magic. I haven't tried to make anything come out of my crotch this hard in years. Okay. That slipped out, much like she said. Oh, God. Stay me. Look, there he is. I'm sorry.
Oh, I see.
Oh, shit. You got Will Miles on your crotch, girl.
I got Will Miles on my crotch.
Audio listeners. You gotta check out the special effects wizardry that we're doing here on We Are Trash People.
Yup. Check us out Monday nights whenever whatever happens on the CGP stream ends.
And if not, 8 Pacific.
5 a.m. Irish time.
Yeah.
Woo!
And I enjoyed the movie La La Land. You know, it was a good movie. It had some good parts. I don't know why it's getting all that hate. I don't believe white people were as instrumental in jazz as the movie would make you believe. I want to be clear about that. But I also don't think there were that many white people helping slaves like all the other movies would have you believe too. So to me, they're...
Yo. Right up there.
Love it.
And the next one that we wanted to share with you, it happens a little bit later.
Yeah, it's probably around more like the 2 minute and something mark, because it ends where it ends. So yeah, try that there.
Last season, but it's pretty good. It's going pretty well. Yeah. I like the news. I like watching TV, Stone, and especially news. I like Pix 11 in New York. That's my favorite news channel. Yeah, hell yeah. Hold on. I like them because they're not that good. And that's what I appreciate about it. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, that's a good news program. And it's like, yeah, it is, but it's like too dark. I like Pix 11 where they're trying at best, you know? They give it their all, and that's what I care about. I'll give you an example of Pix 11 News. On election night, every other news channel had digital boards, and they would touch it, and it would go like, this is red state. And they touch it, and it would turn red. It's amazing. But on Pix 11, they had a whiteboard and markers. And they just keep going like, this state's red. Oh, hold on, my bad. This one's actually blue. Like, give you an example of them. You know, most newscasters have processed news before they deliver it to you. They've read it over and they've dealt with the information. And when they say it to you, it's kind of cold, but that's what newscasters are supposed to do. That's not how Pix 11 rolls either. They read the news for the first time, live on air, in front of you. It's great. They came back from commercial break one day and Letty was just staring at the screen like this. And then she just goes, oh, that's terrible. It was great, though. It made me feel like I was part of the I team. Like, I went to school for that. I really watched it because they have this segment called What a Shame with host Arnold Diaz. And Arnold Diaz is great. We got some fans out there. I love the name Arnold Diaz for one. It's my porn name. But I just like the show. I like What a Shame. It's basically a segment where you go through a regular problem in your day and then you get on the news all of a sudden. You know, it's like, yeah, okay, I had trouble in line at Best Buy. Great, you're on the news. What a shame. With Arnold Diaz. And he's been doing this for 25 years. He's been doing the news for 25 years. He hosts What a Shame Now. But before this, he hosts a segment called Shame on You. And then before that, he hosted a segment called Shame, Shame, Shame. So he is the king of branding, and his brand is shame. And he's been killing it for years. He's got me in a lot of issues.
More shame than a Catholic priest. Ayo, hack Irish joke. Anyways.
It also...
There's a station. Can I tell my Calax story?
Well, that's part of why I played it, because it's a funny story.
So, Calax is the local Berkeley College radio station.
They play amazing, weird music.
Amazing, weird fucking music.
And the DJs are so lovable.
They're so lovable. So in the morning, what is clearly a class, at 8:30, they tell you the news. And they read the news to you. And they very clearly just read it beforehand. Not only had a group of people they just couldn't pronounce a particular name and then just got the giggles and then just passed the giggles back and forth to each other for like 3 minutes trying to read the news.
Wasn't it Barack Obama?
No.
Okay.
It was about something terrible that was happening in the world.
Oh, that's
and
right.
so that made it even worse
That's
for
right. I
them because
forgot
they're
that.
like, oh no, like we're laughing at this awful thing. So it was on the anniversary of Martin Luther King Jr.'s birth or
assassination.
The assassination. And so the person reading it is like, it's been this many years since Martin Luther King Jr. died. He was a civil rights activist who was instrumental in blah, 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 blah. His killer was never found. And then just keeps going.
Which
they're like, I don't think that's true. Like they clearly
I'm glad they know that's not true. I like that they were like, well, I said it, so I'm just gonna have to keep going. So I admire I'm just gonna keep doing it. I admire that, as someone who does podcasts, that's the way to handle it, not doubling back. But also,
just commit.
Whoever was doing the prompter or the printout, really
that's just my favorite thing. It's just like his killer was never found? Because that's exactly how my brain was processing that.
Yeah, that's also
wait.
If that was in front of me, that's how I would read that. It would be it was never found?
Like, seriously, guys?
Because they can't stop. Because I think they have
they can.
They could, but
I think the problem is
they have to keep going.
I know that that's not true, but I couldn't give you the name of the guy.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you what happened. So
I can't
it's like
prove it actively right now on the air without the ability to research things because they're just at a microphone, probably without phones or anything.
My question is though, why do they have to bring up the killer? Why can't they just it's the anniversary of Martin and just leave it there?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
because I'm not even from America, and I know they found Martin Luther Jr. King's Jr.'s killer. They
didn't have to bring him up at all. Just focus on Martin Luther King Jr.'s great work, and just move on. But no, they're like, no, this is it. It almost read to me as whoever wrote the script decided it would be really funny to prank the person on air, thinking they'd catch it and wouldn't say it. Not realizing that, no, when you put a script in front of someone on the air and they have to read it and think they can trust it, they're going to read it.
Oh, that was not a prank. That was clearly prepared by a journalism class, and some kid sat down and was writing it, and he's like, oh, I know all the shit about Martin Luther King Jr. I don't need to
Do you think they confused it with
check myself, wrote that down, thought no more, and sent it in.
Yeah, I might be putting too much intention behind that script. That script was not very good.
Weird total aside thought that has no relevance, but why do American radio stations have X's in the name? Like, KXP, CalX, and K Scum, I guess, has a K in it. K is another letter that's always in it.
Because the K it's a station that's east of the Mississippi River, and the W are stations that are west of the Mississippi River.
Why is it
No,
not
it's the other way
E?
around.
Why
It's
is
the
it
other way
K?
around. We have the Ks. Ks are west of the Mississippi, and Ws are east of the Mississippi. That's why you have WNYC, and then we have KKSF, CalX,
KFOG,
KLW, and so I don't know why they split it that way. I don't know if it was a different governing body or something, but it is, and it's the Mississippi. Supposedly, it's the Mississippi. WKRP in Cincinnati.
So now I'm just thinking there's two different radio conferences and they have to play off against each other or some bullshit.
Oh.
Is that how America works? You just conference everything?
Probably. That probably is the reason. At some point there was a conference and then radio eventually declined to the point where they were like, hey, we got to team up. We're losing real bad.
Fun fact about Ireland: we have some of the highest listener radarships in the world. Okay, radio listenership. My words aren't working anymore. Radio listenerships in the world. Oh. I have no fucking idea why. It's like this is a random bit. Like, no, we like this. We're keeping this. Like, cool. You know, yeah. Like we're pretty good at adopting technology, but for some reason we're obsessed with radio.
That's really interesting.
Huh. Interesting, but not funny. Which this is a comedy podcast, so let's move on.
I mean, yeah, we've always used comedy very loosely, but that's actually our last.
Like, if you talk about comedy, does it count as?
I mean, yeah, that is always the thought I have to have when I'm marking the category for our podcast.
Right.
It's like, comedy?
It's funny. This is a funny podcast.
Thank you. We have a real comedian on now.
So we don't have
Sally.
We don't have the start times for any of.
Oh, guys, I got something to talk. We have to talk. It's like, guys, look, I'm not like that good a comedian. You can't like. It's the bit. I haven't even been doing it 2 years. Give me a break.
Okay, so I have this thing. I have a thing. I have
something that really grinds
in
your
my
gears?
bonnet. I have something that grinds my gears. This idea that you have to be doing comedy for 10 years before you get good at it, when we've seen people who cannot have been doing it for 10 years, like, absolutely popping off because they're just super talented.
I'm going to be honest with you. Learning that Zach Woods started doing improv at 16 has me rethinking all sorts of timelines, I assume.
Like, I don't know. I think that a lot of women also have that applied to them, where it's like, I don't know. It's like, because women are just getting into the scene. So many women, you'll see them and then all of a sudden they're blowing up because they're super talented.
Yeah.
Like, and this sort of myth that you have to be doing it for 10 years is based on a model of comedy and an idea of comedy where you have to hit the road and you have to do this and you have to do that and you have to have a certain type of comedy that applies to everyone and will feed into this or that particular imagined audience.
Yeah, I mean, people develop at different rates. Like, like I know people who started when I started, and because of different circumstances and priorities, like I've done maybe several hundred shows more than them. So like, you know, that kind of way, and that's just the way it works out. Yeah. But also, there's different talent levels. There's different stages of developing. There's plateaus along the way. So there's different stages, but 10 years is generally a good rule. Like it's not necessarily they're not good beforehand, but 10 years is a good rule for people being industry ready. If you know what I mean, to be a certain level of comedian, you know?
It just takes as much time to like build up within the industry.
Yeah, it's 10 years to build up enough people who think you're fucking good as well, which is another big thing. Like, because that's actually all comedy is building a following. You know what I mean? Like, you get good, but then you got to find people that you find that like your stuff. And like, that's something that Gethard's particularly good at, by finding a niche audience for his niche comedy.
Yeah, and that makes sense. And you need other comedians to know you and know your bits well enough to be willing to like vouch for you and help book you. And
yeah, and that's also the reason why comedy's been so white and so male for so long.
Yeah,
is because a lot of comedy success is built on social networking, and there's also unconscious biases against other people. You know, because bookers pick with their preferences rather than with like objective senses.
That's part of why Harvard grads have written on so many shows. Like The Simpsons is packed with Harvard grads because some of the early writers are from Harvard, and so that's sort of the pipeline. I mean, that's the Lampoon. The National Lampoon is an outgrowth of that.
It's all coming around to my whole, like, comedians are essentially street preachers.
Well, like
comedy is actually secretly a cult religion.
Well, improv is anyways.
I mean, yes.
Oh, they're going to come for me.
I mean, they'll be coming for Gethard first after tonight's show.
Also, Will is is on an Irish improv show tonight. I should plug it. He's yeah, there's not a huge amount. The improv scene here is really small. Like it's only 2 theaters in the whole country, pretty much. Wow. So maybe, but like Mob Theater, which is run by Aaron McGahey and Stephen Bradley. Aaron McGahey would have been on Harmontown, and I think is a UCB alum. So it's very much modeled after the USB style of comedy. But they have a show on tonight called Dungeons and Naggins, which is a D&D based drinking game, basically. And Will is on that tonight.
And it's Will Hines.
Will Hines is on in about 12 hours time, I think. I'm not sure. I have to figure that out. No, 8 p.m. Irish time, so you guys can figure it out from there. It's 5 hours behind the EST, and I don't know what it is that. Midday, I think. Midday.
I do plan on adding that to the calendar.
Because that sounds
after
awesome.
This, because I want to see that, especially now that I know that it's a D&D related thing.
It's really good. It's a modified D&D.
That's so cool.
Because most of the comedians that play it actually aren't D&D players, so it's really fucking good. There's a bunch of old episodes of it out as well. Yeah.
Ooh.
So I plugged my friend's shows and something vaguely related to Get First. Guys, can I ask you a question while I have you?
Absolutely.
Do either of you know Pauly Shore?
I know of Pauly Shore.
This is a name I have heard.
I know.
Okay.
I haven't seen any of his movies except for a Goofy movie.
That's it. Okay. So I'm guessing none of you have his phone number. If anybody has Pauly Shore's phone number, this is a call out. Get me Pauly Shore's phone number. Sorry to hijack your podcast, but I need this footage.
I have neither Pauly nor Mitzi's phone
So
numbers.
Pauly Shore, if anyone has Pauly Shore's phone number, get that to Allie. Allie, get in the Discord, DM Allie, slide right up in to her DMs. It's Allie O.R. Allie O.R.
Allie O.R. That's it.
And so, yeah.
Sorry, I've completely
connections.
No, this is important. I want to know what will happen when you get Pauly Shore's phone number.
I can't tell you, but all will be revealed May 1st, which is a hint for people in the Discord.
Yeah. So also, one thing I want to tease, but we don't have to try to find it because we don't have the time code for it, is Will Miles at the end of the set, that 15-minute set, has a really good Ashley Madison joke.
Oh, yeah.
That you should definitely... That joke alone, you should watch it because his stand-up is great, but that joke specifically, I was just dying.
Yeah, it's a really good one. Anyone remember Ashley Madison? The website you would go on
the adultery
specifically
website
to have affairs? Because that makes sense.
Because he was single and thought it would be funny to sign up.
Yeah.
Which is good because it's good to hear a unique take on that because it's one of those things when it happened, everyone had a bit about it. It's like, please stop talking. It's like Corona now. Like nobody wants to hear material about coronavirus stuff.
What helped?
Leave it go.
What I think helped is because of his storytelling skills, he manages to turn it into like a fun narrative, and that helps.
That's it, because that's a unique story that is unique to him. So that's different. You know what I mean? That's how you avoid being a hack.
Yeah, it's not just traced. It's not just what's the trendy topic for a joke right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was a big kale joke boom for a while.
Oh my god.
Loads of Michael Jackson jokes, several different Michael Jackson joke booms.
Yeah, lots of those booms. Very distinct booms in terms of where the jokes went. But R. Kelly had a boom too with jokes.
R. Kelly is always having booms. That's his problem. He needs to stop booming all over the place.
But yeah, that takes us through all of the things we wanted to highlight.
Yeah. So that's Will Miles, the things that we found of Will Miles. I'm really, really excited for this
Wednesday.
And
Gethard pointed this out in the promo about it, but seeing Bastion as an example of current hack material offered. Have you heard about the president? Have you seen this guy?
He's orange.
He's Cheeto. President Cheeto, huh? No one's pointed out that he's orange before. Anyway.
No. Unique thoughts, everybody. Unique thoughts.
Geth pointed out that with Robbie and Will, you have two poles of the attitude spectrum, and the ideal life advice is probably going to be somewhere between Robbie and Will Hines.
So
Will Miles. Will Miles.
Okay. So you know how Will Miles has the joke about how he likes movie it was the Cats joke.
Yeah, Cats.
He likes things made by people who smoke weed, not people who do cocaine. So if he is the weed of this attitude, Robbie is so
speed.
coked up.
No, she's speed. She's definitely speed.
100% like sober. I would not be surprised if she was like, I only drink my kiddish wine.
That is one thing she's doing that we should also highlight.
Yes, every Friday at around 7 p.m. PST. Tune in on Instagram. It's only about 15 minutes, and you light your candles, your Shabbat candles.
And you drink your kiddish
wine. It's a beautiful little tradition, and it makes my bubby, my Jewish grandmother, very happy when I call in and tell her that I lit my candles because I did it with Rabbi Robbie.
Yeah, it's Friday Kiddish with Rabbi Robbie.
She doesn't question it, no.
I think she's just happy that you're doing it.
Oh, she's so happy. She's like, there are so many wonderful new ways for people to be involved with their tradition. And I think that's lovely. Both of her children married non-Jews. Like, she moved to California. She moved to San Francisco. I'm like, Bubby, you grew up Orthodox. Like, how did you feel moving to California and suddenly not being remotely as, following your rules as much? And I thought that she would be like, oh, well, my husband wasn't that into it, so I wasn't doing it. And I wish I had stuck with my guns and been a powerful woman, something like that. And she goes, well, I moved to San Francisco and there wasn't a Jewish part of the city, so there were no kosher markets. Like, she's just so happy whenever we show any kind of interest.
Yeah, if it takes a comedian from LA to make it happen, she's happy with that. Is that us on your blanket?
Yeah, I'm trying to make it work, but
Whoa!
Oh, for some reason you're mirrored. I don't know why you're mirrored, but you're mirrored. Hold on, I need to get it flat enough. I think that's the issue.
We're inside of you.
I just hold it against my chest. That'll make it flat. There we go.
Oh, I love it. Oh my god. I love
Guys,
it.
Oh god, I can't get Emily. It doesn't want to get Emily. I think it's your pink hair.
Probably. It's probably it hates women. I mean,
that's it. Green screen technology is misogynistic, and we will not stand for this.
No, we will not. We must burn down the patriarchy, and we will start with all of the green screams.
Green screams.
Green screams.
Bastion just had the most amazing joke in the chat. I tell you what, the bris must be an awkward Zoom call. Yes, it must. Yes, it must. To any of you goyim out there, that's when you circumcise a little boy. They're infants.
It's a baby.
It's a baby.
But yeah.
Can you just imagine that over Zoom?
No.
Huh.
No, I don't want to.
Well, now that we've put that beautiful image in everyone's minds, I want to thank everyone who has stuck with us through this super late episode.
Yeah, thank you for still watching, everybody.
Yeah, we appreciate you so much. We appreciate you, Allie.
Yeah, thank you for calling in, Allie.
Thank you for waiting.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Any and every time. Thank you so much, Bastion. Thank you so much, Purple Hat and McDougal and
Redactyl was here.
Everyone who's in the chat.
Tiger Bates was here.
Tiger Bates. Thank you very much.
Tiger Bates
forever.
Purple Hat.
Purple. Yeah. So yeah, thank you everybody.
Thank you everyone. We're really excited for Wednesday. We will see you all in the chat. And we will see you all on the after show. And I want you to all, if you have thoughts about improv or questions about improv that you wish that you had been able to ask Gethard and Will Hines, slide those into my DMs. Tag me. I will save them, and I will have some time for that on the after show.
And we'll also probably do some life advice based on what Miles and Robbie talk about. Well, be the after show to both episodes of Planet Scum Live this week.
Yes, we'll help people process.
But we're efficient, so it'll be one after show for 2 shows.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we're a show right now that's after the show, so this is kind of an after show. But it's not about the show.
Shit.
What?
We're in the after show.
We're in the after show. This is an after show.
We are in the after
show.
The after show pre-show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the pre-show, that's an after show?
Look, I think this show is both the alpha and the omega. It's the beginning and the end.
It's showception.
Yeah.
It is showception. Bastion would also, before we go, allow to put, in addition to the Zoom bris, the water-damaged MacBooks from the Zoom baptisms.
They're all in like the cases people use to shoot movies underwater. It's just these giant plastic boxes with computers inside being dunked in the baptism pool.
I like how that almost implies that we're baptizing the MacBooks themselves. Like,
it's not like
their souls must be saved.
It's not like a proxy for a being.
How will I survive in heaven without the Macs? Funny story before we go. I never baptized any of my children, and they have been baptized so many times, secretly, not secretly, by elderly members of my family since.
Oh, wow. Well, then they have to be solid then. Like if it's been
it's not like I can think of 5 different times off the top of my head.
Oh wow.
They're ultra Christian, whether I like it or not.
I'm just imagining the Jewish version of that, the secret priest.
Oh God! Oh.
Like, I'm sorry, but we got your child's surgery behind your back.
Oh no! Don't do secret surgeries. If you take one thing away from this show,
unless it's for a consenting person.
Oh well, that's fine then. But if it's for a consenting adult, I don't care. But don't secretly alter children.
No.
That's the big lesson of this show. And with that, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess that's the note we're ending it on.
Yeah.
Don't do secret surgeries.
No,
on that foreskin bombshell, let's go.
Foreskin bombshell.
Foreskin bombshell. Good night and good claw.
I'm not worried about getting bombed by Kim Jong-un because I don't think he's ever going to bomb black people. He thinks we're all NBA players, and I am fine with that racism.